committee. Secondly, we have two witnesses both in the first and second hour. We've asked them not to speak, not to deliver their opening statements for more than 5 minutes. And witnesses, I will be enforcing that if need be, because we are very tight for time. Secondly, I would ask our witnesses, if you were speaking in your one official language, maintain that official language for your entire statement, or if you're answering a question. If a question is posed to you en français and you wish to respond, do so for the entire answer. Switching back and forth between two languages poses some problems for us technically. So I would ask you to please accommodate us and accommodate the interpreters. And lastly, just speak slowly and clearly so that our interpreters will be able to get the correct interpretation to all of our colleagues on Zoom. We will be having a 5-minute round, 4-minute round, and 2-minute round to be able to facilitate the opening statements. And we'll begin now with Mr. McCauley for 5 minutes.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair. Welcome to our witnesses. It's nice to see Canada Post back again. Before I start with the questions, sorry?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Chair. The witnesses, I thought were going to be, I had indicated to the witnesses that they each had 5 minutes to make an opening statement.
Correct, and I'm sorry, I should have clarified that. We will start with Madame Fortin for her opening statement for 5 minutes, followed by Mr. Prasad from Purelator for a 5-minute opening statement. But again,
thanks,
5 minutes maximum if possible. And Mr. McCauley, Mr. McCauley, you're on.
I'm sorry, no opening statements?
There will be opening statements, no more than 5 minutes each. Madame Fortin, sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the chair and to committee members for inviting me to join you today. My name is Manon Fortin, and I am the Vice President of Operations Integration at Canada Post. I'd like to start by taking a few minutes to update you on how Canada Post has been responding during COVID-19. Our people proudly serve all corners of the country, the urban centers, the rural towns, remote communities, and the far north. Across the company, we understand the important role we play in the everyday lives of Canadians. When those everyday lives were quickly disrupted as the country responded to COVID-19, we understood we would be playing an essential role to keep people and businesses connected. Our top priority from the beginning has been to ensure we are putting the safety of our people first. To do so, we have closely followed the advice and guidance of the Public Health Agency of Canada throughout the period. We quickly and dramatically changed the way we work, the way we deliver, the way we operate our post offices, and the way we clean our facilities right across the country. Let me give you some example of changes we made in very short order. We implemented physical distancing measures in all facilities, many that weren't designed to keep people 2 meters apart. In our plants and depots, we've made changes to staff scheduling, work layouts, and work practices to help keep employees at least 2 meters apart. In our post offices, we've added plastic shields and signage on doors and floors to ensure customers follow physical distancing. For delivery, we moved to a knock, drop, and go policy for parcel delivery to eliminate the need for customer interactions at the door. We've increased the frequency and the level of cleaning in our facilities, and we've distributed personal protective equipment and safety supplies to employees across our network while placing an increased focus on proper hand hygiene and physical distancing. These are just some of the examples of the many measures we've taken in response to COVID-19 across our 21 plants, 480 depots, and thousands of post offices. Through it all, we've worked closely with our unions and bargaining agents at the national and local level with a shared focus on keeping our people safe. We've met regularly, daily, shared ideas and information, and addressed potential concerns. This approach has helped us to quickly navigate many of the challenges we face while we continue to operate in these challenging times. By putting safety measures in place early and working to regularly improve them, we've been able to continue operating as Canadians turn to us to deliver more and more items. In April, May, and now June, we've seen a huge increase in parcel volumes. Our people have been delivering at record levels as Canadians shop online for the items they want and need. These parcel volumes are coming from businesses of all sizes, with many small and medium-sized enterprises shifting to online sales to continue serving their customers. We are now regularly delivering over 1 million parcels a day across the country. That's what we normally deliver during the period from Cyber Monday to Christmas. We're also delivering on weekends across the country. Even with record numbers of parcels going out for delivery, even greater numbers arrive for processing each day. Beyond delivering on weekends, we're taking a number of measures to respond while maintaining physical distancing. Our network's the largest in the country, so let me help put our efforts in perspective by talking about what we're doing in Montreal. We're processing 24/7, offering voluntary overtime to employees and drawing on trained temporary workers to come and help out. On average, our employees, since this has started, are performing approximately 15,000 hours a week in Montreal in voluntary overtime. We're also hiring new temporary and permanent employees to bring greater stability and to cover all shifts available on the equipment. We've also continued to make changes to streamline our sorting processes and work with customers to help us use our network more efficiently. It's meant that through May and the first week of June, we've processed more than double the amount of parcels we would normally receive at this time of year. We will continue to respond to improve the situation, but I want to tell this committee that we are incredibly proud of the work our people are doing across the country under very difficult circumstances, and we won't undermine the measures we've taken to put employees' safety first. At Canada Post, we're proud to serve all Canadians. While we're being tested by today's current realities, we are the only one built to serve all 16.5 million addresses across this vast country. That's a big reason why we see the majority of what Canadians buy online. It also means we're not just delivering online shopping to urban centers. Canada Post is busy delivering much needed supplies to communities across the country, including remote communities in the far north. So in early April, when we were called upon, along with Purolator, to help distribute PPE to provincial and territorial health organizations across the country, we were pleased to support the effort. Our people are part of the communities they serve, and they see the need firsthand. Our focus at Canada Post has been to keep them safe so that Canadians in every community can continue to count on our postal service. Thank you, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Mr. Brassard for 5 minutes, please.
Good morning. Thank you to the committee and to the chair for inviting Purolator to join today. My name is Ryan Brassard. I am Purolator's Director of Global Supply Chain Solutions. I'm pleased to discuss Purolator's role in delivering personal protective equipment, PPE, to regional health authorities across Canada. To give you a brief background on Purolator, we are the largest express courier company in Canada. We're celebrating our 60th anniversary as a great Canadian company this year. Our network is made up of more than 170 operating facilities and 110 retail centers. We employ more than 12,000 hardworking Canadians from coast to coast. We have close to 5,500 vehicles in our fleet, and I'm proud to say that Purolator has one of the greenest fleets in Canada with a large and growing fleet of electric and hybrid vehicles. During the past few months, Purolator has been proudly carrying out our mission of making Canada stronger by providing essential delivery services to Canadians across the country. In addition to critical healthcare, industrial and government shipments, the rise of direct-to-home deliveries has grown substantially over the past few months. I'm proud to say Purolator delivered tens of millions of shipments to individuals and families, allowing them to safely remain at home during COVID-19 pandemic. We did it safely as our driving priority. Our more than 12,000 employees have been on the front line delivering vital supplies every day, ensuring that the economy continued to move and critical supply chains continued to flow. We have been working closely with public health organizations and global occupational health experts to execute safety protocols to help ensure our employees and customers stay safe. We put in place advanced sanitation practices and increased the frequency of sanitizing all facilities. We're conducting contactless deliveries through our retail store and courier networks. In my role, I'm responsible for working with large organizations, creating supply chain solutions to, from, and within Canada. Purelator's network and our service is designed for safety, speed, and reliability. We have broad capabilities to deliver all types of shipments, from truckloads of freight to documents and parcels. We also have warehousing, logistics, and customs brokerage capabilities to enable our thousands of global customers doing business in Canada. We were proud to work with our partners involved to play in delivering much needed PPE to regional health authorities across the country. To date, we've delivered more than 33,000 cartons of equipment, including masks, gloves, and gowns. They were delivered to regional authorities in every province, 14 locations in total. As provinces and territories move to reopen, we will continue to put safety first for Canadians and our employees and do everything we can to serve the millions of Canadians and businesses who are relying on us to deliver their promises during these unprecedented times. I would be pleased to answer any questions you may have about Purelator's role in delivering PPE supplies to the regional health authorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to our first round of questions, which will be 5 minutes each, starting with Mr. McCauley.
Hey, we'll try this again. Thanks, Chair. Witnesses, thanks very much for joining us today and for your information. Before I get to my questions, I just want to start a shout out to some folks at Canada Post. In Edmonton West, a short while ago, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of a World War II veteran, one of our local heroes who served in the Atlantic Battle, Leslie McLean. And we had Donald Cooper from Canada Post, who's helped us out a lot on our mailbox issues, came all the way up to help celebrate the birthday. And Canada Post President Doug Ettinger provided for us a special memento for Mr. McLean, who had spent 35 years working for Canada Post after leaving the armed services. So just a quick thanks to Canada Post for that. Now, Ms. Fortin, I hear there's various service delays because of the safety measures, like physical distancing at your plants. Can you help me understand, like, what's involved, what would be causing the delays specifically?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
That's fine.
Thank you for the comments about our employees. I know Donald Cooper, as I worked in Prairie Region in the past, very good employee, and so pleased that he was able to help you with your event. So from the start, our top priority has been to keep our people and the communities they serve safe. So we had, in very short order, to make several changes in our operations across the country. Of course, working closely with our unions and with our employees to put those changes in under public health guidance of what those measures should look like. And so at the same time, as we were putting those measures in place, we started to get incoming volumes that were similar to Christmas. And so the measures we put in place are necessary. They include things like changing our work layouts in all of our facilities that were not built to have people 2 meters apart. We had to change our layouts, our work practices. We had to reduce the number of employees working in several work centers in order to respect the 2-meter distance.
Madame Fortin, I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the chair.
Yes.
I wonder if you could get you to get your microphone a little closer to your mouth so our interpreters would be able to hear the audio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. They had mentioned I should do that. So all of those changes have caused us to have less processing capacity that we typically would have at Christmas, with the benefit of planning and the physical distancing measures not in place. So under the COVID, let's say, staffing, our employees are processing record numbers, Christmas volume numbers, but we can expect some delays as we put some of those safety measures in place, and we keep those safety measures in place. What we've done is we've suspended normal delivery guarantees for parcels because we wanted to focus on safety. We've been very transparent with customers, posting information on the delays on our website, on social media. and also letting the customers that are sending the parcels to the consumers, Canadian citizens, know. We've been transparent with Canadians to expect delays for the foreseeable future. We've delivered every single weekend since March 12. We are not structured to deliver, but our employees showed up. And hundreds of employees showed up to deliver every weekend. We've been operating 24/7. We don't typically in April, May, June, operate 24/7. So employees, we've called on our 10,000 temporary employees to come and help us out. We've had over 600,000 hours of overtime in all of our plants from our employees helping us over weekends. We're creating now full-time positions in some of the bigger facilities to help deal with the volumes, but essentially we've delivered Christmas-type volumes with a capacity that has been constrained for all the right reasons, has been constrained to ensure the proper safety measures are in place in our facilities.
Great, thank you. If you're hiring so many temporary employees, maybe you should give our veteran Leslie McLean a call. He's 100, but he did 35 years with Canada Post. He's in great shape. You could probably use him. Now, you have so many employees, 68,000 employees. How have you been able to access and distribute PPE to your employees?
So thank you for the question. So as I said at the beginning of the pandemic, in very short order, we had to turn ourselves to how do we make the safety of our employees and the people they serve a priority, and working with our unions, then what does that mean? And public health, what does that mean in terms of processes and equipment that we would have to provide to our employees? So we've provided to post offices across the country hand sanitizer, wipes, gloves. We've put clear barriers at our 3,700 corporate post offices, as you would see at many retailers now. Distributed face coverings to all employees in our organization that are customer facing or
unfortunately, Madame Fortin, unfortunately, we're completely out of time. If you have additional information that you want to provide in your answer, I would ask you to do so as quickly as possible in writing, and you can send that directly to our clerk, but we are under some time constraints here. So now I'll go to Mr. Johari for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to witnesses. And also, I'd like to echo the same sentiment, the great work that the Postal Service is doing, making sure that we receive not only the good, but the services that we need. Let's take a step back. Madame Fortin and Mr. Prasad, can you give us very, very quickly an overview of the process of distribution of the PPEs? I understand we do some sourcing. I understand through PSP we do the procurement. But once the procurement is done and the goods are sourced, help us very quickly through how do we get the product, the steps that we do to get the product from the destination to the regional health center.
So maybe I can thank you for the question, and thank you for your kind words about the work that our employees are doing every day to serve Canadians. Maybe I can answer the question by explaining a bit what our roles have been in this initial and urgent distribution of personal protective equipment. So each entity has had its own role to play, for sure. Amazon was brought in to provide the system platform to enable PHAC to place orders, track inventory, and then give a signal that an order needs to be dispatched. We could not do that ourselves because we're not a fulfillment company. We're a processing, transportation, delivery company. And so that was Amazon's role. Purolator, and Ryan can probably add after, is providing transportation to the Maritime Ontario warehouse to await shipment instructions, and is also providing the final mile shipping services to the 14 health organizations across the country.
Madame Fortin, microphone, please. Microphone.
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Thank
the uncoachable. And Canada Post is also providing final last mile shipping services in some instances. Maritime Ontario, who's a contractor of Canada Post, has provided an emergency warehouse solution to store the product.
Great. So thank you. I'm going to ask some very pointed questions. So the shipment, who's managing the shipment from the customer at source if they're overseas?
That's government.
That's the government.
That's right.
Who's responsible for clearing the custom?
That would be the military, the government, and the airline that the government has contracted.
Great. Once the products are released from custom, where are they being stored?
Where are they being stored?
Yes.
Purolator, for the most part, Purolator has been picking up the product and storing it and bringing it to us at the Maritime Ontario.
So it's going to be between Canada Post and Purolator storage facilities, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The role is playing, it's mainly around storage and the last mile delivery.
Exactly.
The role that Purolator is playing is also the same as transportation as well as the last mile delivery.
Exactly.
And I understood you brought Amazon in. That's where I wanted to go. So Amazon is more like a logistic provider system in the background that talks about or manages the distribution and says where the product should go.
So we did not bring in Amazon. PHAC made that decision, and it's a system. It's a software that PHAC uses in order to place their order and to track where their order is.
So it's an order processing and probably order distribution. How does who prioritize which system, which body among all of these prioritize where the products are going to go?
PHAC.
PHAC prioritize where the products goes, and then the execution in there. Great. Have you seen any? How has the volume changed? How has the working relationship between the three worked in the past? And I got only 30 seconds, so.
Microphone again, please, Madame Fortin.
The working relationship has been excellent. We have been supported by the military also on the ground. And from the start, this was put together very quickly and working collaboratively, dealing with issues. So I would say the working relationships have been terrific, actually.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Madame Vignola. 5 minutes, s'il vous plaît.
Bonjour, ma question va être mes premières questions vont être pour Madame.
Hi, my first questions will be for Madame Fortin. You say that you've used 10,000 temporary employees. That was one of my concerns. I was wondering if temporary workers had left, and now you're saying that you've pulled them in, and that you have 60,000 employees. And I'm pleased to hear that they are also protected. My first question, the volume of parcels has increased, but what about the type of parcel? Is it different from the status quo?
Est-ce que vous m'entendez en français?
Oui, très bien, merci.
J'avais tellement peur de ne pas le faire correctement. Donc, c'est une très bonne question.
It's a very good question. There was a change.
Le colis qu'on reçoit, normalement...
Usually, we would process and deliver from 700 to 800,000 items per day. Now, we process and deliver between 2 and 1.5 million items per day. Usually, it's 60% small items, such as a sweater from Simon's, and 40% of the parcels are Apple computer. It's a bit bigger. So we see that people are ordering more items from the same provider. We've seen, so there are less small parcels and more big parcels, and we've had a lot of bigger, for example, a canoe, bigger products. Okay, we are not structured to process that kind of parcel. Usually 40% of regular parcels, 1% of bigger than average parcels. So there's been a big increase because as an option in the beginning, the only option people had was to order online. So there really was a big change in the type of parcels used. And if I understand correctly, your parcels are analyzed to check for things that are not admitted into Canada. So I imagine that bigger than average parcels will mean that analysis and scanning will take longer. Most of the bigger than average parcels come from Canada and from Ottawa, actually, and usually from one of our main clients. Therefore, there's no analysis on content. There would be an analysis for the size of the shipments and to ensure that employees can safely touch these parcels. In regards to the international shipments, as you know, we have three exchange offices, and we have customs. Ms. Fortin.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I wonder if, for our interpreters, are asking if you could hold the wire rather than the microphone itself, and make sure that your hand's over the microphone now. If you could keep your hand on the wire, but the microphone close to your mouth. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Merci, mes excuses.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Go ahead. Actually, wait a second. I'll ask it differently. A few years ago, Post Canada had to close some processing plants, such as the one in Quebec, which meant that far regions, such as the Magdalen Islands, their parcels usually have to go through Montreal before going back to the Magdalen Islands. In the current situation, if you'd had closer processing plants, would that have changed the speed of processing? Thank you for your question.
Well, please.
We have a processing plant in Quebec. And I think that in the current situation, and with the volumes we're dealing with, it would have been difficult for us to do better than we have. Even with extra centers. Yes, even with extra centers.
Green for 5 minutes, please, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I really I feel compelled to begin my time with stating my deep disappointment that Amazon was unable to find time to join us in this committee. We know certainly the consternation around the contract, how it was communicated, how it was evolved, some of the gaps in the answers that we received in previous committee meetings. And I have to share with you that during this pandemic, I've had an opportunity to look into our standing orders. And quite frankly, under Standing Order 113, subsection 5 and 6, I'm reminded that standing committees have the power to send for persons with no limitations noted in the applicable standing orders of 108. I share that because as we go into these summer months, I feel that we ought to have really strongly urged Amazon to find time to be here. And I'm very disappointed, if not a little bit upset, that they couldn't make time given their relationship with this government. So I'll begin with my questions to Canada Post.
Mr. Green, I'm sorry, and I won't dock you any time for this, but our interpreters have just informed me they're having quite a bit of difficulty in hearing you. The audio level is quite low. If you could perhaps speak a little louder or closer to your microphone, please.
I'm happy to do so. I will state, though, that it feels a little bit like it's a person-to-person thing. I've been on a technical briefing before. I logged on 15 minutes early before. I have a studio quality microphone. I'll speak louder, but I don't want Canada Post to feel like I'm yelling at them, because I am a little bit fired up over Amazon. So if it sounds like I'm yelling, it's not at you, Canada Post. I'm really just upset at Amazon. And I've been told that you can't hear me. So how is that, Mr. Lukowski? Is that okay? I'll hold the mic like this.
It sounds better to me. I'm just worried about our interpreters. If they give me another intervention, I'll get back to you, but please go ahead.
Yeah. And I also will note that their fatigue and the work that they do is very challenging and very difficult. So I do want to acknowledge that. On April 24th, 2020, the Minister of Public Services and Procurement told the committee that Amazon Canada was selected to distribute medical supplies because it responded to PSPC's call to action. In response to a question from a committee member, she further explained that the federal government selected Amazon Canada because, unlike Canada Post, it has an online platform through which provinces and territories can place orders for medical equipment and supplies. We heard earlier in committee, Mr. Johari, I think, suggested that Canada Post brought on Amazon. We know that not to be true. Did Canada Post and Purolator respond to this call to action independently of Amazon?
That's a good question. So it wasn't independent of Amazon from the start.
Colleagues, and I apologize once again for the interruption, but I'm going to have to suspend the meeting just for a few moments. For some reason, Mr. Green, and I don't think it's coming from you personally, but our interpreters can't pick up any of the sound. So I'm going to suspend.
You know what it could be? Because I've been having troubles with translation. I'll go to the floor. How is that? Is that better for them?
If you can.
Check 1 2. I'll go to the floor sound because I found that with interpretation on the English channel, sometimes it muted the settings.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, Mr. Green, they're indicating to me that unfortunately that is not. Might I suggest, Mr. Chair, could we proceed to the next questioner and one of our technicians can call Mr. Green and then you can return to Mr. Green to give him his time afterwards? Would that be permissible?
It works for me, Mr. Green. If that's agreeable to you, we'll see if we can get the technical difficulties sorted out. You will not be docked any time. We will certainly get back to you to give you your full speaking slot. How's that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Yes, please, Mr. Johari.
I just wanted to clarify, I did not, in my statement, make any indication that Canada Post brought Purolator on. I just said that the three of them working together, and I wanted to understand the nature of the collaboration. That's all.
Yes, thank you again. It's not a true point of order, but thanks for your clarification. Yeah. We'll now go to a 4-minute round and get back to Mr. Green as quickly as possible.
Just as a point of order, I've changed my headset. Because I'm fourth party here, I don't want to get squeezed out, and I want to make sure that I have the ability to ask these questions. Can they
certainly? Interpreters, are you able to hear Mr. Green better now?
I'm hearing interpretation now, Mr. Chair. If Mr. Green, you could continue using your headset, they are indicating the sound is better. Thank you.
I don't know how that is, but we're gonna proceed here.
Please go ahead, sir.
We're ready to go. So if I get my time back, I would request that I ask the question that on April 24th, 2020, the Minister of Public Services and Procurement told the committee that Amazon Canada was selected. You've heard the preamble. Did Canada Post and Purolator respond to this call of action independently of Amazon?
No, we did not. So it's the call came at the same time. We all joined the working sessions together and worked together to provide the solution to the government. I should clarify that our relationship in that arrangement, we are already service providers to Amazon for the distribution of packages. So the last mile delivery that we do on behalf of the government for this personal protective equipment is guided by the Amazon system. And therefore, we bill Amazon for the services. But the solution design was done with the three parties together throughout.
So do you not have the capabilities to provide these services absent of Amazon?
We don't. One of the requirements at the beginning of the process was that PHAC wanted to be able to distribute to not just 14 health organizations. They wanted to be able to distribute to 3,400, I think it's 3,400 or so hospitals, all types of health organizations, and be able to put those orders through a system. So we have very good systems to accept boxes and Purolator to accept pallets. We do not have a system to manage orders for 3,400 addresses. Amazon
so just trying
does.
to better understand the relationship of this public-private partnership. On the 24th of April 2020, the Deputy Minister of Public Services and Procurement told the committee that Amazon Canada, Canada Post, and Purolator are offering these services at, quote, no profit for the first few months and will go from there, end quote. Can we expect, so what are the nature of these for-profit agreements and have they kicked in? And what do they look like?
I can't speak to those agreements. As I said, our relationship on the services we provide is with Amazon. The agreement that Amazon has with PHAC, I'm not privy to. I'm sorry.
But you are a agency of the Crown. Can you share with us, are you in currently a for-profit agreement with Amazon as it relates to the COVID response?
We would be charging the rates we typically charge for Amazon shipments.
Has that always been the case?
Since the start of this arrangement, yes.
So how is it that a member from the ministry can suggest that this was at a no profit for the first few months? Did Amazon then swallow the losses on the margins that you were charging back to Amazon?
I can't answer that question. I think that that's something that Amazon could answer themselves.
They could if they were here, but unfortunately they're not. And so we're trying to figure out what is the scope and the scale of this arrangement. How long is the contract that you currently have with Amazon for the COVID response?
That I can answer. In terms of the services we provide, Purolator and Canada Post to get the shipments distributed across the 14 organizations, we know that those services will end mid-July.
So is there any current contract talks for extension?
Mr. Green, even with the additional time, unfortunately, we're out of time now.
Hopefully I have another round. Thank you.
I hope you will as well. We'll now go to the second round. These are 4-minute interventions, starting with Mr. McCauley.
Sorry. Thanks again for some of the answers you've been providing for us. We're relatively short on time. Are we experiencing, or Canada Post experiencing an uptick in the porch pilots theft from items if you're doing your knock, drop, and go for safety?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We have not, we don't track theft from parcels. We do track calls that we get from customers who, have problems with delivery, and we certainly have not seen any increase or changes in those trends.
Good. You mentioned the temporary workers you're hiring. Are these ones that have past experience with Canada Post? Did you just bring back the Christmas folks, or they're added people on top of that?
It's both. So at the very start of the pandemic, when we knew that we would need extra hands, we called on our existing 10,000 temporary employees that help us through the year, that are already trained, know our operations, and can easily fit into the work that we require them to do. As the pandemic continued and we clearly saw the volumes were not going to be less than what they've been, and the trends continue, we have started calling our Christmas casuals also back into the operation, and many of them have joined. And we have also, we're in the process of recruiting additional temporary employees, and we're in the process of, in our big centers, because we know we will have to go to more of a 24/7 operation, we are making those positions permanent.
Oh, fantastic. Anecdotally, do you have any evidence of difficulty hiring people because they prefer to stay on the CERB at this time? We're hearing a lot of feedback in Edmonton from local employers. Are you experiencing that difficulty at all?
Actually, recruitment has been a challenge for the last couple of years, given the high employment. We've always had difficulties staffing new positions, but I have to say our human resources colleagues are saying that there's more available employees than not as we recruit.
Right. Okay. Do you have an idea how much, you mentioned the plexiglass, the PPE you're providing. Any idea how much that's going to be a hit to your bottom line over 1 year? And obviously it's required, but.
Yeah, we've obviously been focused on serving Canadians and getting through this backlog and making sure our employees are safe and the communities that we serve are safe. We haven't had a chance really to calculate everything out. We do know that the supplementary hours that we've added amount to several $1 million of additional costs.
And have you had any trouble procuring any of this, any masks, the gloves, etc.?
At the beginning, as everyone.
And where are you getting it from?
Oh, several suppliers. At the beginning of the pandemic, everybody was looking for the same product. Right. So a bit of a challenge back then. But our procurement team did a fantastic job quickly turning around and being able to provide all the product that's required, the personal protective equipment for our employees.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Mr. Weiler for 4 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the witnesses for joining our committee today. Really incredible to hear the major changes happening at Canada Post and with Purolator, and the immediate addition of so many workers. And it really sounds like some major shifts happening with Canada Post, and given the extra costs with adding PPE and social distancing, as well as the the increase in parcel delivery, what has that meant to the bottom line of Canada Post?
So in the first quarter, you might have seen the first quarter results of Canada Post. There was a loss before tax of $66 million. The impact at the time of the parcel increase was minimal. Now, as we...
Madame Fortin, microphone again, if you could.
As we approve, as we move into April, May, and June, there have been some pretty significant changes to our business. So parcels are up. Went from 40% to 50% now more parcels in our operation. So as busy as Christmas on that front. Letter mail has come down 18% as we go through the pandemic. And our direct marketing business, which is advertising mail, that has been significantly impacted, 64% down. So it's hard to tell. Time will tell where all of this will land. But yes, you're absolutely right. There's been a significant shift in our business from, yes.
Sorry, and just looking, do you see some long-term changes to your business model going forward?
Yes. So you will have seen our 2019 financial results where we reported that a loss, but we reported that parcels continued to grow and not as fast at a pace as we expected. And at the same time, our letter mail and our direct marketing mail, advertising mail went down. And so our business is slowly shifting from mail business to parcel business. And this has just proven itself out during the pandemic even more, how big of a role Canada Post can play in that. So yes, we will definitely see some permanent changes to our operation.
Great. And I've heard that Canada Post is taking steps to help those at risk, including seniors. Could you provide a little bit more details on that?
Yes, so we have special leave provisions in our collective agreement. And like I said before, our top priority from the start has been the safety of our employees and taking guidance from public health in how we manage and change our policies and our practices and our approaches. And so right now, we have 2,289 employees on what we call high-risk leave. Those are people that are 70 or older or that have pre-existing medical conditions that put them at risk. Of those, 241 are 70 and older. So the high majority of our employees that are on high-risk leave have pre-existing medical condition. We also, with school closings and daycare and not being available, we've provided for childcare leave. 828 employees are currently on that leave. 120 employees for elder care. Out of all of that, many have come back to work. So
thank you. We're going to have to cut it off there now.
Oh,
Again, we're very, very tight for time. We'll now go back to Mr. McCauley for 4 minutes, please.
Thanks very much. I just want to switch over to Purolator. I'm just wondering if you can give us some idea how you're managing the health and safety of your employees and the community you're serving throughout the COVID crisis.
Thank you for the question. So as always, the health and safety of our employees and the communities we serve is a top priority for us. Thankfully, we're prepared and we planned very early. We have been working closely with public health organizations and global health experts to execute safety protocols to keep our employees and customers safe. We put in place advanced sanitation practices in every terminal and retail locations, and we increased the frequency of sanitizing all 170 of our operating facilities. All employees at our terminals have access to personal protective equipment and hand sanitizer. We also are conducting contactless deliveries to our retail stores and courier networks, for example, verbal signatures capture and curbside pickup. We're maintaining rigorous sanitization and physical distances standards across our network. We're also following through contact tracing program to effectively isolate and contain the risk of COVID-19.
Great, thank you. Now, Purolator last year launched a growth and innovation plan. Can you give the committee a bit of an overview of this?
Sure, thank you for the question. Last year, Purolator announced a $1 billion growth and innovation investment plan to modernize its operation and enrich the experience of our customers have in a digital world. Called Delivering the Future, it is the most ambitious investment in Purolator's history. It included a state-of-the-art national super hub, new fleet vehicles, e-bikes, leading digital technology for our couriers, and more so. I'm pleased to say that we continue to invest in the future despite the extraordinary circumstances during the past few months.
Where's the super hub?
It's just close to the airport. It's right north of Humber College.
Oh, why not in West Edmonton?
Yes. So we needed to be in the central area, obviously, for geographic and for the population serving for Canadians.
For shame.
Yeah.
How is Purolator coping with the huge uptick in demand for parcel delivery? Are you having the same employee growth, bringing back the part-time or the temporary people?
Yes, so I'm pleased to say that we've experienced extraordinary demand for our services. Our volumes are at record levels, similar to Canada Post, and we're seeing significant new business opportunities to flow into our network. As you know, our network's built for speed, safety, and reliability, so the demand is definitely outpacing capacity, which is challenging the entire industry. We have a detailed volume management plan in place to manage this. We're increasing our capacity in our network through hiring more than 1,000 new employees and innovations like expanding our mobile quick stop network. We've been hearing positive feedback from our customers that we're on track and we're helping them to recover from the challenges of the past few months.
How much time do I have, Mr. Chair?
Very little, Mr. McCauley.
Oh, I'll cede my time.
Thank you. Mr. Kuzmierczak for 4 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for your testimony. Really do appreciate the excellent insights that you've provided from Canada Post. I do have a question. I've heard that that Canada Post is taking some steps to help those at risk, including seniors, for example. So I'm just wondering if maybe you can provide a little bit of detail in terms of some of the additional services that are being provided by the folks at Canada Post.
Absolutely. So we have a mandate to serve all Canadians across the country, and we understand that our service is essential, particularly to seniors. We're working hard to safely serve them. And so a couple of things. We've reserved the first hour of our post office total schedule of service to those who are most vulnerable, including our senior citizens. And we've worked right from the start with the long-term care homes to ensure that mail is delivered to their patients and the people who are in those homes. And that has been different for each one, depending on where they are, what's been happening in the long-term care home. But we've been extremely flexible in order to meet their requirement.
Thank you very much, and I know that many banks, for example, have closed, or we've heard of some banks, for example, closing branches in rural areas, northern communities, for example, in BC and whatnot. I understand that there was a pilot project, or there was an agreement in place with Canada Post, potentially looking at postal banking as an option. I'm just wondering whether that's been explored any further, and if you have any update on that.
I don't have information on that pilot. I'm from operations and logistics, so I don't have the information. I'll be happy to provide it for the committee and follow up with the committee on that. Okay. But I'm not familiar.
Okay, great, no problem. And the last question that I have is, we know that small and medium-sized businesses are facing a huge crunch and major challenges during the COVID crisis. And I just wanted to ask what steps Canada Post has taken, for example, to support small and medium-sized businesses in any way.
Yeah, small retailers are certainly ramping up their online operations, and we are so proud to support them. They're a large part of our customer base. At the end of April, we started providing small businesses with additional discounts for shipping to support them during this difficult time. We provided, oops, I just lost my microphone. I'm sorry about that. We provided further discounting on local shipping to support them shipping packages to customers in their local communities. And after 6 weeks, happy to report that more than 80,000 small businesses across Canada have taken advantage of these discounts that we're offering. We've also introduced some marketing offers to help small businesses connect with customers in their local community. And we've been communicating this program broadly through all media, some of which you might have seen on television with our Think Small ads.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very
much. Monsieur Bachelet-Duval, 2 minutes, s'il vous plaît.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Chairman. Actually, that last question that was raised was about small and medium-sized businesses, and that's a happy happenstance because I saw an article in La Tribune lately, and it said that a local entrepreneur who wanted to deliver merchandise found that in order to do that, it would cost him between $7 to $12, whereas somebody wanting to send merchandise from China to here would have had to pay less than $1 for the very same package. So I'm trying to understand how that can be explained. There's the issue of distance, there's the issue of crossing the ocean, there's the border that you're crossing, and you talked about support for SMEs, so how is that possible? That's a good question, thank you. I don't have the information about costs for packages coming in from China compared to packages from our small businesses to be delivered here, but I would be happy to send you further information about that. Do you know whether there are special agreements with China to give them rebates that people here don't have access to? Well, we have agreements under the Universal Postal Union with most countries, but I'm not aware of anything specifically about China, but I'll make sure that I give you the information. So we've seen that there's a huge amount of volume these times, and for Purolator, they're just as overwhelmed with volume, but we saw that delays there are much shorter than for you. How do you explain that difference? Well, I can't speak on behalf.
Fortunately, we're completely out of time, but I would ask that you please complete your answer in writing as soon as possible and deliver that to our clerk. Our final 2-minute intervention now will be Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Picking up where I left off, I'm wondering if the witness could expand on any negotiations that are happening on a go forward, understanding that we're going to certainly need to have logistic supports in COVID through the summer and into the fall.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question.
The first part of the question is exactly where I ended off. I'm asking if you can elaborate on what negotiations you have currently with the government to extend your contract beyond July, knowing that we're going to have to deal with this into the fall.
So there's no negotiation. Our role in the distribution of personal protective equipment for Canada Post, when I say that, is complete. Of course, if we're asked to come back and work with the government or any other companies to distribute the equipment, we will be there to support that. But our role is definitely, there's no negotiation going on for a continued role.
That is startling. Understanding that the financial disruptions that COVID would place, understanding the 2016 report from Ernst & Young, what impact has the pandemic had on Canada Post financial sustainability?
As I said, our mandate is to serve all Canadians, and it is to be self-sustainable, self-sufficient. Our immediate focus is clearly on operating through the current challenges. I spoke a bit to the volumes and how the business has changed through the pandemic. So on the revenue side, as I said, the parcel volumes are up significantly, 50%. There are days where we delivered 2 million packages, which we only see during Christmas. Our letter mail is down 13%. Our direct marketing is down 60%.
Fortunately, Madame Fortin, we'll have to terminate the rest of your answer now, because I will briefly suspend this meeting, but not before I thank Madame Fortin and Mr. Mougeot-Pizard for your presentations here today. They've been informative and very, very helpful. So you are excused, colleagues. We will suspend for just a moment or two while we prepare for our next panel of witnesses. We are suspended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
5 minutes, please, Mr. Gentes.
Unfortunately, Monsieur Janté, we cannot hear you. There's no audio level coming through.
Hold on, I'm sorry, I did mute myself. So, hello everyone, my name is Jean-Philippe Gentes. I'm a pharmacist by trade. I am also a pharmaceutical entrepreneur since 2006. I own and operate 3 businesses that employs 210 people. All businesses are located in Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec, Canada. I am in the field of distribution of pharmaceutical, chemical, distribution and importation of material, medical devices, and also I do now manufacture hand sanitizers. I'm also not too far away from my profession, so I also own a compounding pharmacy where we do service pharmacies throughout the province of Quebec and hospitals throughout Canada. So we prepare ready-to-use drugs for them that the pharmaceutical industry cannot manufacture for many reasons. And I am also in the field of injectable drugs and biological injectable drugs manufacturing. I would say that COVID-19 did put a lot of pressures on the supply chain and manufacturers of medical supplies and also drugs. When it comes to medical devices, glove deliveries from regular manufacturing have been constantly delayed and pushed back. And also we've seen important price increase in most of the personal protection equipment in the past few months. I would say it's something ranging from 25 to 200%. Also, although we've seen good intention and nice opportunity that was given by the Canada government to allow more manufacture of hand sanitizer. I would say that most of or a lot of those companies out there are not from the pharmaceutical world. Thus, today they are not respecting the basic regulation on natural product manufacturing. Today, I think that this could lead to poor quality and underproduced product being available on the market that could cause certain risk to the Canadians. And today, I'd like to also take some time to raise a concern concerning the use of technical grade alcohol that is being used today in the manufacture of certain hand sanitizer that is available on the market. As the committee might know, the technical grade alcohol does contain a lot of impurities higher than the normal acceptable grade of alcohol that is being used for the manufacturing of hand sanitizers. And we're talking about sometimes 100 times over the regular grade that is being used. And I'm thinking namely about acetaldehyde. This has been evaluated by a task force from Health Canada. And despite the fact that they're looking at the worst case scenario, they say that the concentration that is present of acetaldehyde in the product can increase the cancer risk resulting from both dermal and inhalation exposure when applying hand sanitizers will not be considered negligible. So basically, they consider that the risk for short term is okay under the COVID-19 circumstances. But today, I would say that with the pandemic that is getting more and more under control, there should be a reconsideration regarding this, although price-wise, I think that there's an incentive for manufacturing to use those technical grade alcohol because it's sold for 1/3 to a half of the price of the acceptable pharmaceutical grade ethanol. So I think that low price of technical grade should not be a justification to continue using such product. Also like to take some time to discuss about manufacturing sustainability. I think that COVID-19 was a big eye-opener for all of us. During the past years, we lost considerable numbers of manufacturing sites in Canada in the healthcare environment. Long-term lowest bidder policies that had several important side effects on the health of our manufacturing system. Low price that encourage the use of product manufactured outside of Canada where labor is cheaper and also where quality could always not be at the same level as Canadian standard. And in this, I'm asking the question, is it normal that we pay more for a bottle of water than an injectable dose of a vital product? Is it normal that we pay more for Smarties rather than pills? I think that the lowest bidder strategy led to decreasing product quality, lower investment in plant equipment and quality, and led to plant closure. And this had an important side effect.
Unfortunately, Monsieur Jonté, we're completely out of time. We are tight
thank
for
you
time
very much.
tonight. So we'll go to Monsieur Philippe for 5 minutes, please.
Great, thank you. My name is Ernie Phillip. I'm the president of Medline Canada. I'm actually glad to hear the passion of the committee. I'm also personally passionate about this topic. And really, on behalf of our 500 employees, who I can tell you I'm so very proud of, I want to thank them, and on behalf of them, really appreciate the time of this committee. At Medline, our passion for purpose is together improving lives. We know the items that we provide to Canadians have direct impact on people's health. But for context, Medline Canada is approximately a $500 million company in Canada, which makes us one of the largest medical supplies company in Canada. We sell Medline branded products as well as other manufactured products through the entire continuum of care. So hospitals, long-term care communities, physicians and dental offices, as well as 2 retail stores, one located in Quebec and one located in Ontario. We can deliver very quickly through our distribution network of warehouses located in Delta, BC, in Edmonton, Winnipeg, 2 in Ontario, 2 in Quebec, Halifax, and Newfoundland. We sell tens of thousands of items, including PPE items like gowns, gloves, masks, and sanitizers. We also sell a number of other large product categories like incontinence products, skin and wound care, sterile procedure trays, for a few examples. We source products through our manufacturing and contract manufacturing network throughout the world. For example, in Asia, we have approximately 600 contracted factories, and we have approximately 350 employees on the ground doing quality and regulatory functions. We also have access to manufacturing capabilities of Medline Industries in the United States and in Mexico, and we have many, many, many relationships with factories right here in Canada. We work with and are so appreciative of the work we have done with the GPOs, the SSOs, the regional health authorities, and numerous other government agencies, including the federal government, to source incremental PPE items. To say I'm very proud of our company, for example, we have taken a very long-term view to the market. We are a healthcare company. And during the beginning of COVID-19, our Together Improving Lives, morals, and values were what guided us. We didn't divert products to higher margin commercial companies like banks. We took our inventory and allocated them directly to frontline workers in hospitals and long-term care facilities. And we tried to be a strong voice to our customers, to be very careful of short-term brokers, and in some cases lawyers that were in this for short-term profit, large prices, don't know if, asking for large deposits and potentially not being heard from again. We were that constant voice. We are not in this for short-term profit. We're here together to improve the lives of Canadians. We're really hoping that all levels of government will have a long memory to those companies and industries that live these values and morals. I certainly would not proclaim that we are a company that's perfect, but we will continue to be vulnerable, we will continue to be honest, and we will continue to learn and get better as a company. And I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to our 5-minute round of questioning, starting with Mr. Lebutev.
Good morning, both Mr. Philip and Mr. Jantes. Welcome you to the committee this morning, and congratulations on your successes in your businesses. Mr. Philip, you have about 500 employees, 600 contract factories in Asia. This is a lot of capacity. It's a big company. Have you looked into start to producing more in Canada now and in the past? Have you thought about producing more in Canada just to maintain quality control? Although you've mentioned that you have about 600 or 300 people on the ground trying to tracking down the product, making sure the quality control is in place and so forth, which is a normal practice for respectful companies bringing product into Canada, especially in the medical field. So the question is, are you looking into expanding further in manufacturing, basically self-reliance in Canada rather than bringing product from outside?
Thank you for the question, and great question. So two-pronged. We've legitimized and continue to legitimize our supply chain by taking advantage of opportunities around the world where we need capacity, especially where you have unplanned huge demand spikes that we saw over the last, obviously, 100 days. But we are looking at doing some manufacturing in Canada. We have some warehouse space that we're expanding in Ontario, as well as in Quebec. And we actually have a formal bid in to make masks in Canada with the province of Ontario. So it'll be multi-pronged.
Where is the difficulties for you to expand on the product lines? You know, in PPEs, there's many elements, many items that you can manufacture. Where do you think your disadvantage? I know labor is one of the disadvantages, and government policies sometimes, taxation of carbon tax, others can all be in your way to be efficient, to be able to produce product in the price. But on the other side, you have to move the product logistically. There's a cost, and also the waiting time could be, another step that you have to overcome. So where do you think the difficulties, what do you expect the government to do for your manufacturing sector to be able to produce more product in Canada?
So I think there's a couple questions in there. So one is, you're right, and that's why we use a lot of local manufacturers as well. in Canada for things like sanitizers, etc. Some of the, I think you've hit on the kind of two big issues. I think the last one would be raw materials. For example, something like melblone, which is used for the middle layer to filtrate medical grade masks. There are no manufacturers here in Canada. They're in Asia, and there's 7 in the United States. So just making sure we have the raw materials available to make it is extremely important, or at least to be able to stockpile them. So I think that would change some strategy going forward. And I feel like there's a third question, or there's something else you might have said that I missed.
Well, the question is, economy of scale is an important factor in determining the final price of the product, and that is known in the manufacturing sector. If you have the volume, you can produce more product. That economy of scale works to your advantage as well as to the end users at the end of the day. So have you look at that model to see how you're going to really produce in the future? As I said, reliance on the local market and local production is very important.
We have, and dialed in on masks. Masks is medical grade masks is where we see an opportunity in Canada for sure.
Okay. For Mr. Genté or Gentis, you mentioned a low grade product in the, you call it the technical grade alcohol that is coming this way, and maybe will be a long-term effect, not so much for short-term effect, while we can produce the alcohol product, the hand sanitizers, locally in Canada. How much of a price difference we're looking at cost-wise? How much we're looking at a difference between importing product from outside or producing it here?
Okay, very brief answer, please, sir.
Okay, so rapidly, there's multiple sources. So if we want to buy local, we got price ranging from $3.50 to $9 a liter for ethanol. If we buy from China for the same kind of ethanol, we can buy it at $3 and maybe a bit lower. And if we source for technical grade alcohol, we got price around $1.50 per liter.
Thank you
very much. We'll now go to Mr. Jahari for 5 minutes, please.
Mr. Chair, I will be yielding my time to Mr. McCauley. Sorry, Mr. McKinnon, my apology.
Oh, well, I was going to say that would certainly be a surprise. Mr. McKinnon, please.
Share your time with me, Mr. McKinnon.
Yes, that's not likely, Mr. McCauley, as intelligent as your questioning usually is. Donc, bonjour tout le monde.
So, hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. Gentis. I've just changed channels here. Okay. Congratulations for your entrepreneurship. Mr. Philip, identified some opportunities for the future. How are you planning for the future, whether it's in terms of PPE or your chemical formulas, perhaps? What are the opportunities that you see for yourself or the industry you belong to? Where do you see domestic growth happening? Well, it's interesting to see the openness that COVID-19 has provided among the general population and of the government. You know, it gives us an idea of how we procure things, whether it's medication or other products. Now, if we focus on our own local producers, we can, as a society, decide that the safety of procurement is very important, and we are willing to pay a little bit more to have a safer product. So I think the future is bright if we do decide to move forward in this way. Many of these businesses have been delocalized into Asia, for example, because the prices are much lower. In my business, it has opened many opportunities. For example, the manufacturing of certain types of gels, which we didn't have the opportunity to do in the past. What has saved our business from having to show people the door is our local focus. So it has allowed us to reduce the impact that we've seen in other sectors, for example, the various surgeries, for example. So as an entrepreneur, we have to really look at everything. That's the irony of the situation. That's right. And there's less and less shortage at the local level. So if we make things locally, we can control our supply chains. There is less chance of us running out of anything, whether it's PPE or medication, which we've seen over the past 10 years. There have been increasing numbers of medication shortages over the past decade. Yes, absolutely. And we really need to act on that. So what makes us less competitive? Why did we lose the market share for those products to foreign manufacturers in Asia, for example? And how could we increase demand going beyond grants, for example? Because then you run into trade agreement problems. So aside from grants, what could the government put in place to help growth in the sectors you're talking about? Well, I already mentioned it. It's very important in terms of the call for tender. You have to put quality first. Of course, price is important, but quality has to play a bigger role, as well as local production. It has to be that way so that we can reduce the impact of other problems and so that we can be more secure as a society. If procurement is important today, well, we need to reflect that in our call for tenders and for proposals. And there are so many reasons why we lost our industry. In 2008 in Quebec and in Canada, we lost a leader in pharmaceuticals. There was a huge, the financial crash rather led to many of these companies going under. And we have to look at the post-commercialization of their product.
Unfortunately, again, because of our shortness of time, we'll have to cut you off there. We'll now go to Madame Vignola. 5 minutes, s'il vous plaît.
5 minutes, please. Yes, hello. And thank you for being there, Mr. Gentes. I will continue with you. So you started producing disinfectant gel, if I've understood correctly. But starting a new production means that you need, and you're going to see financial impacts. What has that impact been for you? Well, we've been lucky. We've had to invest, but moderate sums, because for us, we already make and produce many products in small volumes, or comparatively to in a broader society. For example, my everyday work involves using Purolator to send hundreds of parcels across the country. So most of what I do and most of the work I do during the day fits into a small parcel, 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. So that upscaling has been done more naturally. We've always been cautious. We don't produce on a very large scale. We have 120 people working at the company who started making disinfectants. We had recruitment problems not too long ago. Perhaps today things would be different, but it's important to keep people working, and that's very important. Now, in terms of transport costs, have you seen any problems in terms of procurement or clients saying it was taking too long? And have you seen any price increases in terms of transport? No, not in terms of transport. However, unfortunately, we do have problems with our Purolator colleagues. There's been a lot of increase in handling and processing times, and medication, for example, shouldn't take more than 5 days to be processed because medication needs to be kept at a certain temperature and so on. So we've had to turn to other services to be able to keep the 24-hour delivery time, which is what we had in the past before the COVID-19. Okay, so the processing times had gone up from 24 hours to 4 or 5 days. I see. So often there are costs associated with and reimbursements also of the costs if there are delays. For example, if your package gets there more than 3 days after it was sent, you get some of your money back and so on. Is that still the case? No, because that would cost much too expensive, and usually it's the client who pays. So usually we eat that cost and we return the product in that case. Okay, so you said that the prices in China were much lower than here. Perhaps I just didn't hear you say it, but your producers for isopropyl alcohol are where in general? Have you had to deal with other providers? We're using ethanol actually, but we do also buy isopropyl alcohol, and we have had to move to new providers. Now, in terms of ethanol, we source it from a number of different sources. We try to encourage local sources. We have been working with a new ethanol producer. We bought their first 10,000 liters. It cost us much more, but currently our procurement model is a hybrid model, local, Asia, and so on. But we have made the choice to not use technical grade alcohol, even though Health Canada said we could. So what explains the difference in prices? We understand that producing ethanol here, well, there's transport, there's that issue. But in China, I understand that there's the workforce, but still the basic components are the same. And it has to go across the whole, it has to cross the whole world to get to us. And from Brazil, half the continent. So why are the prices so high? Is it because we are not asking enough of our own producers? Well, it's supply and demand. If there's too much demand, then prices go up. But I don't have the answers. I don't make my own ethanol, so I don't know if it really costs so much more. But you are paying for it.
We'll have to end it there. We'll now go to Mr. Green for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you. I'm wondering, we've heard questions about quality control as it related to some of the antiseptic hand gels. I'm wondering if the witness from Galnova would care to expand on that. Is he suggesting that there are some serious health risks to the lower cost hand sanitizers?
Well, I said that there could be some risks, so I do not bear all but I can tell you every time that I enter into a chain store, I look at what's available. In most of the case, I would say that 50% of product that I saw in major retail stores do not bear any lot number or expiry date on the product. And we're talking about the pharmaceutical product. So this is the basic. Whenever you manufacture something, you must have a batch number and an expiry date. If there's ever an issue, you need to be able to recall those products. So this is the first basic rule that you do whenever you manufacture a pharmaceutical product.
It sounds very rational, in fact. What other ways do the introduction of companies not situated in this field, entering into this, trying to do their good civic duty, you had mentioned perhaps that they're also not regulated in the same way that your company may be?
At the moment, there's no inspection, there's no regulation. So Health Canada did issue temporary licenses to be able to manufacture these. So, but I'm not saying that everything is bad and that it was not appropriate to do it at that moment. Sure. When it was carried over. But I think that today, now it's time to try to start taking back those licenses. When you see that some automobile garage did get licensed to produce hand sanitizers, normally quality, if you compare a garage to a pharmaceutical plant, there should be some differences in the quality. I'm not saying that everyone is doing it wrong, but for sure that the level quality will be different.
Oh, that's a very important point. Of course, you'll probably recall the controversy around the defective N95 masks. We brought in 11 million, had to basically declassify 9 million of those masks, like outstanding, 80% of those masks. are you in that? You catalog, you list N95s produced by 3M. Did you ever have any existing contracts with the government for those items prior to this?
No, we don't have any contracts for medical devices with the government. Our contracts are mainly for pharmaceutical ingredients that we have with various hospitals. So I would guess that Mr. Philip do have contract though with the government.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Philip. Yes, that's right. Gail Nova. My apologies. Mr. Philip?
We do have N95 contract with some of the health authorities, yes.
Did you have it prior to COVID?
We did.
And so were you ever involved in the National Emergency Strategic Stockpile procurement? Was
not.
Have there been any preliminary conversations about future procurement for the National Emergency Strategic Stockpile?
Just starting. Anita Anand hosted an industry event that I attended, and we do have a PP continuity program because you're poking at exactly where I think industry can help. It's not as easy as just setting up a warehouse. You want to go to industry that actually turns this inventory so that you don't have expired product and you don't have you have great product, and you need big companies that can turn this. So very, very preliminary discussions, but my company does it for other jurisdictions outside of Canada.
How many units would you typically have on hand in your logistics supply chain for things like N95? What would your stock generally look like? Running stock?
Whatever 3M will give us, right?
Prior to, let's say.
So we would typically 4 months on hand is a good kind of rule of thumb. I couldn't tell you exactly, but 4 months seems right.
We heard the previous witness talk about expiry dates. What kind of systems would you have in place to be able to ensure that you weren't carrying stale products?
Well, we have an inventory management system that would manage it with quality and regulatory alerts, and then
we have a digital system that flags
digital system. Yeah.
Seems pretty simple.
And then you move it. It's simple if you can turn it, right? If it's what you don't want to do is just have a warehouse that governments change and people change, and all of a sudden you have a warehouse that has cobwebs and hasn't been looked at in 10 years. When we saw a little bit of that, back to the days of SARS. So you're poking at exactly the right thing.
Well, I've been poking at this for quite some time, and after SARS, one would have thought we would have learned our lesson. One would have thought we would have had safe fails in place to be able to alert us the fact that when we shut down these plants, we're throwing out these critical PPEs. And go ahead.
No, sorry. We actually went to the federal government and said, we're not a supply chain company, but we'll
pick up on the next round.
Unfortunately, we'll have to go to the next round, starting with Mr. Redekop for 4 minutes, please.
Thanks. Let's just keep on going on that. You were saying, Mr. Philip, you went to the federal government and?
Oh, thank you for letting me finish. We have a solution where we said, and industry can do this, but we said industry's unique value proposition in this category is we have warehousing space, we have the systems, and we have the contracts to turn this inventory. Instead of spending capital, give us a management fee on a per monthly basis, and we'll manage it. And in the minute a pandemic happens, you can declare it a pandemic, and it's your inventory, and you direct it where you want, and you pay pre-pandemic pricing. And we've just.
And how did they respond?
Positive. And I think there's still I think maybe timing is everything, but at that time it's like, we need product now. That's a great idea. Let's table it and let's come back to us. But right now we need product desperately.
According to your websites, factories in Malaysia, Southeast Asia are operating at 50% capacity. What difficulties have you had with your supply chain from Asia?
I'd say evolving. At the beginning, it was panic buying from governments all over the world, all going to the same factories with contracts to say, we'll buy your products. So we were competing with each other. We were competing with other governments. So it was just became who's going to pay the most amount of money to get supplies into what country. So I'd say that was kind of the early shock for us, was we were not expecting that behavior to hit so quick. Mm-hmm. That has gotten much better, and flow on some of the key PP items has gotten better. Although still, I would say items are still higher than, kind of pre-COVID pricing, but much better. And there's only kind of maybe one or two categories where, we're keeping a very close eye. So capacity's gotten much better since March.
Mr. Green mentioned about the rejection of N95 masks. Did you experience that sort of thing in your supply chain?
You know what? Again, I don't want to come off like we're perfect. I really wanted to be careful. Like we did not buy from anything. If we didn't know the factory and we didn't have quality and regulatory people doing it, we just avoided it. We did not want to collect deposits and have money go to our way. And we decided very early on. So it did not happen to us yet. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't. But we are very thorough in making sure that we leverage the fact that we do have 600 factories and we do have 350 people on the ground. So no, it hasn't happened.
Mr. Gentes, so I understand you produce antiseptic hand gels, but I'm assuming that you would then import other products like masks and things like that. Is that true?
That is correct.
So did you experience disruptions in your supply chain, specifically with masks?
Yeah, since we're smaller than Medline, yes, we did. So basically, PPE, we sold almost everything we had in February. And then
Jonte, could you please put your microphone a little closer?
I'm sorry, yes. I'm sorry, excuse me. So yes, we have experienced some issues in resupply of our PPE. So we sold everything that we had in February, March, and then now we're struggling to get back some of the material. Mask has been difficult. So today you see a lot of mask on the market, but from unknown manufacturers. And you've talked about the N95 recall, but there's not only this an N95 recall. If you look into the NIOSH list, there's a whole bunch of masks that is not equivalent to what it's supposed to be. So we've been careful, like Mr. Philip was.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to Mr. Weiler for 4 minutes, please. Mr. Weiler?
I think it's Madame Romanado who's.
My list unfortunately had Mr. Weiler. Madame Romanado, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you so much. My first question will go to Medline. You mentioned that you had about 4-month capacity in terms of warehouse space and so on. Going forward, what are your thoughts on how this is going to change your business model in terms of not having as much stock and or having to increase stock given the challenges with respect to transport and delivery?
We're hoping to do two things. One is we're absolutely expanding our contract manufacturing and manufacturing capabilities out of the province of just Hubei. Obviously, that was the PPE capital of the world of making PPE products. If the ground zero was somewhere else, my personal opinion is I don't think we'd have the challenges that we have today. So it's spread out across Southeast Asia, leverage Canadian manufacturers as well as our buying power all over the world. We hold about $120 million in inventory currently, and we're really hoping a long-term lasting solution is to work with industry, to work with both the federal government and the provinces if necessary to create a PPE continuity program. So when the next crisis happens, that it's here, stock's been rotated, governments can decide how to allocate the inventory.
Okay, actually, that brings me to my next question. As chair of the industry committee, we've been studying this as well in terms of how can industry help and how can we support industry in terms of dealing with global pandemics. You mentioned that you work with 2 retail stores. Could you let us know, is that possible to find out who they are?
It's actually our retail store. So Medline has a store in Mississauga and Medline has a store in Quebec.
And with respect to provincial economies starting to open up and businesses going back to work, what is the challenge or perhaps opportunity for industry to assist in terms of getting the economy rolling again and supporting businesses and getting PPE, given the fact that we want to make sure that frontline workers are getting and hospitals and so on and so forth and the Canadian Armed Forces, but how can we make sure that the industry is able to proceed with safe opening given the challenges?
We are going to stay fanatically focused on we're a medical company and not try to sell masks and gowns and to everybody. So for us, we're going to stay in our lane and be fanatically focused in keeping our employees safe and delivering PPE items to frontline healthcare workers. And we believe we have the kind of solution going forward. And we're certainly getting ready for flu season. And if there's a second wave, and actively working with government, if I haven't said it 4 times, so I guess you've got it, this PPE continuity program. Do it with Medline, do it with industry. There's a way to do this where you don't have to manufacture every single thing in Canada, because it's a lot when you think of tens of thousands and thousands of items. So,
thank you. I'm going to... Mr. Jean.
Now I'm going to move to Mr. Gentes. Thank you for your testimony. It's always a pleasure to meet another Quebec company. You mentioned the criteria for the various calls for equipment and the issue of quality. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and your company's ability to have more goods and the challenges in having more product offerings and the cost of warehousing?
Jean Janté, we're completely out of time. I would ask you to please respond to that question as quickly as possible in writing to our clerk. That would be much appreciated. Our final 4-minute intervention will go to Mr. McCauley.
Great, thanks very much, witnesses. It's been very interesting. Mr. Philip, when you talked about masks, what does your company provide? The full range from surgical to the standard to the N95?
So we provide the whole range. Medline produces masks, medical grade masks, both surgical and procedural masks, and then we are a distributor, an authorized distributor in Canada for 3M for the N95 mask.
Okay. There was a report from a consulting company came out saying over the next couple of years, we're going to be requiring, 3 billion N95s, et cetera. Did you see that report? And do you have an idea industry-wide what is required?
No, I really don't. I've got another report that says we're going to need 1 billion masks. So I think at this point, we're trying to evaluate kind of what the demand is now. So I wouldn't be able to give you a really good educated academic answer to that.
And do you, push seems to be on N95, N95, N95. Do you think that is where the priority needs to be for the country? The reason I ask is I've had suppliers, we hear so much of the need for the N95. We've seen so much, a huge percentage of what's been brought in so far has been faulty masks, and we haven't procured any mask. I think the last month have actually passed PHAC standards. Yet I'm continuing to hear from producers and also suppliers saying they've approached different levels of government, federal, provincial, but no one's actually looking to buy the masks. Can you shed any light on that? It just doesn't make sense.
We are, I'll answer the best I can. We're a distributor for N95 masks, and and that has to happen. We are certainly talking to all levels of government on procedural and medical grade masks as well, because certainly for isolation purposes, if you're not performing surgeries, it's a really, really strong mask. So and that's where a lot of our previous activity is we sold a lot of ASTM level 1 and 2 procedure and isolation masks. So we certainly been a voice of, you certainly need N95 masks, and that's not going to change, and that's going to exponentially grow. But for just general isolation type of applications, that is a really good, appropriate mask.
Sorry, what is a really good, appropriate mask?
The just medical grade,
right?
ASTM level 1 or 2 mask.
Is there too much focus on obtaining the N95 when we should be focusing on what you've just mentioned?
I think you're onto something. I think keep your focus on N95 because that's critical, but I think a little more balance.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what are you producing in Canada right now for masks? You're not making N95, but you are doing the surgical grade and other grade masks?
We don't make any masks in Canada.
Sorry, I misheard you. Sorry.
That's okay. We actually have a bid out to the Ontario government to make masks in Ontario.
You mean in Edmonton, you said?
Yeah. I haven't heard that before. We have a nice warehouse in Edmonton, though. We have a great warehouse in Edmonton.
Great. Where are you going to procure your supplies from then?
we'll take advantage of our global supply chain to get there's kind of two things. Melblone is kind of the big cost in making masks, and we'll take advantage of our big buying power because it's also a raw material that's needed for our incontinence products, of which we have a $1 billion business, in the U.S. So we'll take advantage of our supply chain. We'll keep a bunch of the raw material.
Great. We hear a lot about reshoring, bringing back the supply chain to Canada or North America. Yeah. How feasible is that? How fast can we do it?
Be surgical. I'd be surgical, let's get really good at something so that we could potentially sell it outside of our borders as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to stop the discussion there. But I do want to
thank you.
I do want to thank Mr. Philip, and Mr. Jeantet for your appearance here today. Your testimony has been both informative and very, very helpful. But you are excused. Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Colleagues, I will not suspend. I will go directly into our discussion on committee future business. I will remind all committee members that we are in public. And just to recap some of the comments I made at our last meeting, I would like to try and determine, if possible, in the next few minutes, what our course of future business will be. If you recall, we are scheduled to discuss Supplementary Estimates A next Tuesday for 2 hours. Next Friday, June 19th, we are free. We do not have any witnesses scheduled. However, the whips have passed, and I shouldn't say passed, they have agreed that committees will have the authority, should they wish, to meet throughout the summer. Secondly, that those committees do not have to refrain from only discussing COVID-19 related events. They are free to pursue whatever topic of discussion they wish. So my question to all of you in the committee is, what are your wishes? Do you desire to meet throughout the summer months, or do you wish to suspend and come back at our normal parliamentary schedule, which will be sometime late September? I can assure you that I have talked to a number of colleagues, on both sides of the aisle, frankly, who have suggested that they would like to take some time off during the summer. I know of only one committee that plans to work in its regular committee hours throughout the summer. So that's what the purpose of this discussion is, to find out where we go from here. As your committee chair, I am completely within your powers to determine our schedule. And I see Mr. McCauley had his hand up first. I'll go to Mr. McCauley, but anyone who wishes to join in on this discussion and see if we can come to a resolution, I would appreciate it greatly. Mr. McCauley, why don't you start us off?
Great. Thanks, Mr. Chair. We had thought there's two things. Part of it is, one, I'd like to add just one more meeting to the current round, and that's to bring in the Information Commissioner. And there's a new Transparency Accountability Group to talk about the issues of transparency, difficulty with ATIPs, et cetera. For the summer months, talking to the Conservative colleagues, I think we would just like to have maybe one in July and one in August, more of an update on PPE procurement, unless some emergency comes up, of course, but maybe the same weeks of the July and August sitting, but again, just to have an update from PSPC on the procurement file.
So, Mr. McCauley, so I'm clear, you are making a recommendation for the meeting to be held on Friday, June 19th?
You mean for the Information Commissioner?
Yeah, for what I would prefer if you could just make a direct recommendation or a request for witnesses on Friday, June 19th. The Information Commissioner and only the Information Commissioner?
Well, there's a new accountability group that's popped up. I can get you their names, but it's led by I forgot his name, but I'll provide it.
If you could provide that,
Michael Dagg and a couple of the others of the accountability groups. But I'll provide that to you.
If you could provide that to our clerk, that would be great. I go now to Mr. Green and then followed by Mr. McKinnon.
Yeah, there's certainly some outstanding questions. I wish I had 5 more minutes in today's section to figure out what's going on with the National Emergency Strategic Stockpile, what the future plans are. I fully support, checking back in, because I feel like, just to be clear though, in the event something does come up under standing orders, we do have the ability, 4 of us, to recall the committee, right?
Yeah, we've got 2 ways we can go. Number one, any committee can be recalled at the call of the chair. I prefer not to do that, But you're right. The other option is if 4 members of the committee sign a letter requesting a meeting, one has to be called within 48 hours.
So I'll support Mr. McCauley here, and then knowing that if something were to pop up, another scandal or who knows what, that we can go ahead and recall.
100%.
Thank you. Mr. McKinnon.
Mr. Green says another scandal. I'd like to know what the first one was.
NES, if you're asking, the National Emergency Strategic Stockpile. Thank you for the question.
So do I understand from Mr. McCauley that the Information Commissioner would be invited next Friday?
That's the suggestion Mr. McCauley has, yes.
Okay. And in terms of the 2 meetings over the summer, there are obviously 4 sessions of Parliament scheduled. So which 2 of the 4 would he propose that we convene the committee?
Yeah, I'm not proposing a specific date.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, maybe for convenience at the same time, but I'm not proposing a specific date, but I'm thinking one time in July and one in August for an update from PSPC.
And last question is on that, as an update for from PSPC. We, of course, publish a weekly web update on procurement and so on. So just looking for who in particular you or others would like to hear from. I'm sure you're not proposing that we bring the minister back twice in the summer. So is
right now Mr. Matthews, but possibly the minister. I guess it depends on how things unfold.
But it could be an associate deputy, an assistant deputy minister. Would that
someone who can answer questions? Yeah,
on
give a proper update on.
So a senior procurement official.
Sure, and then barring what Mr. Green says, depends on what happens over the next month. But yeah, just someone who can answer questions.
Okay, and those would be 2-hour sessions.
I would think.
Okay, that's a lot of procurement asking, but okay.
Well,
2 hours.
It's a lot of procurement monologuing from the officers. You know what it's like.
We do. We now have Madame Vignola.
I think we're prepared to support that. I think that's a reasonable request, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McKinnon. We now have Madame Vignola.
I have no issue at the thought of sitting during the summer. I know that we are closed from June 23rd until July 3rd for a technical update, if I remember correctly. We have all kinds of options. We could meet twice a week until July 10th and see each other again afterwards, or do what Mr. McCauley is suggesting, that we meet twice during the summer. I'm thinking about the work of interpreters, of clerks, of translators. I want everyone to be comfortable in their work this summer. So I'm open to Mr. McCauley's suggestion. And other things could be amenable as well.
I see no other hands raised. What we have then, colleagues, in front of us is 2 separate proposals. If I'm interpreting things correctly, Mr. McCauley has suggested next Friday, June the 19th, we bring the Information Commissioner and other witnesses to meet in our regularly scheduled time. And furthermore, the second proposal would be that we have 2 additional meetings sometime during the summer, dates yet to be determined, that would be in accordance or at least in alignment with the special sittings of the COVID-19 committee in July and August. And we can wait until we find out exactly what weeks or what days that committee will be sitting in both July and August, and we can then recall this committee to meet sometime within a day or 2 of those sessions. So we try and maximize the efficiency of both Parliament and, or at least the parliamentary sitting, and our committee. Mr. Clerk, I believe those are the 2 proposals we have, and I also believe we have to have a recorded division on both of them. I wonder if you can take those comments, suggestions that we've just heard, formulate them into some form of a cohesive proposal or motion, and allow us to record the votes on both.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, Ms. Raminato wanted to intervene. And also as a clarification, the Special Committee on COVID will cease to exist on the 17th of June. The sittings that Mr. McCauley was referring to during the summer, I believe, are actually sittings of the House of Commons. One option could be, and my apologies, Ms. Raminato just finished, one option could be for the committee to agree to sit one meeting in July, one meeting in August to be scheduled by the chair, and then we can figure out the best dates for that. But that is just an option the committee wanted to consider, and Ms. Raminato wanted to intervene. Thank you.
Certainly, and as I was saying, dates yet to be determined, but that would be the intent. Madame Raminato.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Actually, I just wanted to mention, I know that other committees are doing the same thing, where they are identifying the weeks that the House will be sitting, so the July 8th, 22nd, and August 12th and 26th. So I know that in terms of planning, that a few committees are now starting to do the exact same thing. So for the sake of getting your slot in, I would recommend that if you're going to select dates, that you do them sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Certainly. Good suggestion, and we will. And as Paul has mentioned, the approach I would take is that once we have the dates when the sittings of the House will be taking place, I, as chair, will then make a call to reconvene this committee on those two dates, one meeting in July, one meeting in August. And Paul, if you want to, again, formulate the motions and put it to the committee for a recorded division.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first will be Mr. McCauley's proposal that the committee invite the Information Commissioner and other witnesses to appear before it on June 19th, 2020. If that is an acceptable, I think I've summarized what Mr. McCauley was proposing for the first idea. I will call the roll on that, Mr. Chair. I will begin now. Mr. Johari.
In favor.
Mr. Kuzmierczak.
Support.
Mr. McKinnon. We. Mr. Weiler.
In favor.
Ms. Raminato.
We.
Mr. Abultiev.
Yes.
Mr. Redekop.
Yes.
Mr. McCauley.
Yes, thank you.
Madame Vignola.
We.
Mr. Green.
Support.
All right, Mr. Chair, that is 10 in favor and 0 against.
Thank you. That motion is carried. And now on to the second motion, please, Paul.
I would formulate the second motion, Mr. Chair, as being this way, that that the committee meet during the month of July and the month of August 2020, if possible, during weeks when the House of Commons is scheduled to sit. Yeah, if that may, at the discretion of the chair. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, Paul. Yes.
I think I have Mr. McKinnon and Mr. Johari have raised their hands. I don't know if they want to intervene before I call the roll.
Yes, let's hear the comments from Mr. McKinnon and Mr. Johari before we do the roll. Mr. McKinnon?
I just wanted to clarify. You didn't say 2 meetings. So it's a total of 2 meetings.
That is correct. Mr. Johari?
Same intervention. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Then, Paul, let's go ahead with the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Johari.
In support.
Mr. Kuzmierczak.
Support.
Mr. McKinnon. Mr. Weiler.
Support.
Ms. Raminato.
Yes.
Mr. Abultiev.
Yes.
Mr. Redekop.
Yes.
Mr. McCauley.
Yes, thank you.
Madame Vignola.
Oui.
Mr. Green.
Support.
That is 10 in favor, 0 against, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Paul. That motion is carried. Colleagues, that'll terminate this meeting. I remind you that our next scheduled meeting of OGGO is next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I wish you all a very... Oh, Mr. Clerk, please go ahead.
Just one clarification, Mr. Chair. If members do have suggestions for the other witnesses to be invited for June the 19th, I would appreciate receiving those sooner rather than later so that I may contact the witnesses. Thank you.
Always willing to make your job easier, Paul.
Amazon.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Again, have a great, healthy, and safe weekend. We will see you next Tuesday. We are adjourned.
Merci beaucoup à tous. Bonne semaine.